Hello class, I welcome you all to this session. This session we are going to discuss important documents used in the formation of a company. The first document is Memorandum of Association. Memorandum of Association, it's like a charter to the company. That is, it is the principal document which is a life-giving document. Okay, and it defines the power and objective of the company as well as the scope of operation. So it draws a framework, okay, that within that framework only the company can operate. It's like your parents, like you cannot go beyond your parents, right? So if you go beyond your parents when you are below 18, you don't listen to them, you don't listen to their whatever the advice they are giving, then it is like going beyond their word. So obviously it will give you some negative impact in your life, right? Similarly, you have the memorandum of association, which is giving that framework within which the company should operate. Okay, and if a company does anything that is not provided for in the memorandum, ultra it leads to ultra virus, that is beyond the legal power and authority of the company. So that is called as ultra vires. So beyond the legal power and authority of the company, even the entire body of shareholders cannot validate an ultra vires act and make it binding on the company. So you should be very clear. Ultra vires is it leads to offense or criminal penalization in terms of law if the company is doing anything beyond its memorandum of association. So very quickly, it's a principal document, life-giving document. It defines the powers and objective of a company as well as the scope of operation. So if you go beyond the memorandum of association, it leads to ultra vires. So this is what called as memorandum of association. So you have, what are the contents of memorandum of association? You have the name clause, the registered office clause, object clause, liability clause and capital clause. So we are going to look into this in detail. So first one is the name clause. So this is the content or clauses of memorandum of association. First you have the name clause, the name of the company. The proposed name should not be identical or similar to the name of another existing company. So that should be kept in mind. So it's just pretty much very straightforward. Then situation clause, that is where is the registered office of the company located. This clause contains the name of the state in which the registered office of the company is to be situated. The exact address of the registered office must be notified within 30 days to the registrar of companies. So this is the situation clause. So within 30 days this information needs to be given to the registrar of company. Then the third is the object clause. It defines the objectives, the purpose with which the company is formed. So this object clause is very very important because beyond this object the company cannot do any sort of business. Say for example, if the company is incorporated under Companies Act 2013 for profit motive, it cannot suddenly say that it has done certain deals for a charitable purpose. So it is contrary to the object of the company. So this is contrary to the object clause of the memorandum of association. So this should not be done. And then you have the liability clause. It limits the liability of the members to the amount unpaid on the shares held by them. That is, say for example, if one share cost rupees 10, so that value is called as the face value, okay, or nominal value. If the cost of the one share is 10 rupees, Mr. Rahul, he is a shareholder of the company, he has paid rupees 8 already, then his liability will be to pay rupees 2 only, because his liability is restricted to the amount unpaid on the shares held by him. So this is called as liability clause. Then you have the capital clause. It specifies the maximum capital which the company will be authorized to raise through the issue of shares. The authorized capital, say for example, is rupees 10 lakhs divided into 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each. So this is the authorized capital. You remember one diagram we had in the last class stating what is authorized capital. I hope that you remember this diagram. Authorized capital is the water tank and the paid up capital is the water. See, authorized capital is a it's like a container. So you can fill the capital, the paid up capital, up to the container only. You cannot fill beyond that. Okay, so you need water to live, like you need paid up capital to run your business. So this is the maximum amount the company can raise over its lifetime. So coming back to our clauses. So the sixth clause is association clause. The signatories, that is minimum 7 in case of public company, minimum 2 in case of private company to the memorandum of association. So association clause is nothing but it says who are associated with the company. It can be a natural person, it can be artificial person, say for example any other company or any other institution or organization. So this association will say exactly who are associated with the company. So the signatories, that is, there is a restriction here, at least 7 people in case of public company and minimum 2 in case of private company to the memorandum of association should actually be there to be associated with the company. Moving forward, so we have the important document used in the formation of the company. Under that, first we saw memorandum of association. Now we are going to look into what is articles of association. So before moving into articles of association, we'll just recap what are the clauses that are there, that is the content in the memorandum of association. One, name clause, situation clause where the registered office of the company is located, and then you have the objects clause, liability clause, capital clause, and association clause. So moving forward to articles of association. See, articles of association gives the rules and regulations that need to be followed by a company for aiding internal management. Okay, so so first point I'm reading, rules for the internal management. Article defines the duties, rights and powers of the officers and the board of directors. In case of any conflict between memorandum of association and articles of association, it provides in a memorandum association will the provisions in memorandum of association will supersede. What do you mean by this? See, memorandum of association is superior to articles of association. Articles of association is subordinate to memorandum of association. So if one point, say for example, if the association clause says a different meaning, or your capital clause says that different meaning, say for example you have the paid up capital or authorized capital can be raised up to rupees 1 crore, so that is what given in the memorandum of association. But articles of association says that authorized capital can be raised only to the extent of 90 lakhs. Then whatever given in the memorandum of association will be taken as final. So articles of association will not be looked into because memorandum of association is superior to the articles of association. So this point you need to be very clear. So what is the articles of association? It gives the rules, duties, rights, powers of the officers and the board of directors to perform the internal management affairs. So if there is any conflict between the memorandum of association and articles of association, mostly there will not be any conflict. Suppose there is any conflict, then memorandum of association will be superior. It will supersede. Okay, moving to the next slide. So what is the definition of articles of association as per the Companies Act 2013? It means articles of association means of a company originally framed, that is when it is forming when it is newly formed, when it is promoted, a new company is promoted by its promoter, at that time whatever is the articles of association that is been originally framed or as altered from time to time, that is after few years, if the business has grown, you cannot keep the same old articles of association. As per the growth of business, as per the situations prevailing, the articles of association should change, that is should be altered or applied in pursuance of any previous company law or this act. So if at all there's that articles of association that is prevailed previously to this act for any in relation to the previous company law, that will be prevailing. So is it compulsory to have an articles of association? For a private company it is compulsory, for a public company it is not compulsory to create an articles of association, because the Companies Act 2013 has given table F. If at all the company do not have a separate articles of association, table F given in the Companies Act 2013 can be adopted as articles of association. So this document, that is the articles of association, should be signed by the signatories of memorandum of association also and duly attested. So this is what we are talking about. So articles means which is originally framed or altered from time to time or applied in pursuance of any previous company law or this act. Okay, and if at all public company do not have an articles of association, no problem, it can adopt table F given in the Companies Act. Then signatories of memorandum of association must sign this articles of association also. So this will be the articles of association, the documents which lists the regulations which governs the running of a company, setting out the rights and duties of directors and stakeholders individually and in meeting. So this is what we are trying to understand. So what are the contents of articles? See, the amount of shares and different classes of shares. The amount of shares, that is how much shares are there, what are the classes of shares, how much preference shares are there, how much equity shares are there. Then rights of each class of shareholders, what is the right of equity shareholders, what is the right of preference shareholders. Then procedure for making allotment of shares, what are the procedures for making allotment of shares, procedure for issuing share certificates, procedure for forfeiture and reissue of forfeited shares, then procedure for conducting meeting, voting, quorum and proxy, procedure for appointment, removal and remuneration of directors, procedure for declaration and payment of dividends, procedure regarding alteration of share capital, procedure regarding winding up of the company. So these are the various contents of articles. So we will discuss each every item in depth. So you know what are the shares? Different classes of shares is equity shares and preference shares. Equity shares are nothing but shares which is purely of owner nature, that is they are 100% owners of the company, so they will be getting a dividend, a share in the profits of the company. Preference shareholders are having a preferential right over the equity shareholders. What is that preferential right? Before the equity shareholders get any dividend or repayment of any value of capital at the time of winding up, the preference shareholders will be given a special preference in order to get dividend and also in order to repay the share capital. So if at all the company is wound up, so this is the preferential. So what are the different classes of shares? Right of each class of shareholders. What is the right of preference shareholders? What is the right of equity shareholders? Once application is over, there will be an allotment process. So what is the process of allotment? How share certificate will be issued? What is the procedure of forfeiture? Forfeiture is nothing but cancellation. Certain shareholders will not pay the called up value. Say for example, the face value is 10. In the previous video, I mean in the previous slide, we discussed that the Rahul was a shareholder, he paid 8 rupees for 10 rupees face value share. 2 rupees then is not called up. If at all it is called up and the Rahul does not pay that 2 rupees, what happens is that beyond a certain point of time, the company cannot hold that share. It has to forfeit the share. That is, it has to cancel the share, and it has to reissue the shares if situations uh, is favoring reissue. Okay, so procedure for forfeiture and the reissue of shares should be mentioned in the articles. Then procedure for conducting meeting, voting, quorum and proxy, and then procedure for appointment, removal and remuneration of directors, then procedure for declaration and payment of dividends to the equity and preference shareholders, procedure regarding alteration of share capital, and procedure regarding winding up of the company. So all the internal affairs of the company is in detail discussed in the contents of the articles of association, so that there is no disagreement in and confusion in the management of the company. So this thing you should be clear. Then moving further, what are the difference between the memorandum of association and articles of association? The purpose is lays down the character or the uh, constitution of the company. See, it lays down the charter, basically what the company is going to be in terms of its objectives, in terms of its vision, in terms of mission, what it's going to do. That will be discussed on the memorandum of association. The articles of association provides rules and regulations for the smooth internal management of the company. The scope in terms of memorandum of association, objects and powers are defined. In terms of articles of association, it describes the ways and means to attain the objectives of memorandum of association. So I told you that memorandum of association is superior, articles of association is next to the memorandum of association. Okay, then status, it is a fundamental document. Articles of association is a supplementary document. Relationship, establish the relationship of company with outside world. So memorandum of association, memorandum of association will actually establish the relationship of the company with the outside world. Articles of association, it controls the internal relationship between company and members. Okay, so it is just giving the relationship between the company and its members. Compulsion, is it compulsory to have memorandum of association? Of course yes. But is it compulsory to have articles of association? The answer is no. For a public company, for a private company, definitely it will have articles of association, can be prepared, or table F of the Companies Act will apply. Even in certain cases, private company can also adapt with certain alteration the table F of Companies Act also. Okay, so compulsion, memorandum of association compulsory, articles of association not compulsory. Okay, legal effects, acts does beyond the scope of memorandum of association are void. That is, it leads to ultra vires. Okay, so this is void in sense it is not valid. And acts done beyond the articles of association can be ratified by the shareholders. That is, if shareholders are giving approval for it, or are rationally giving approval for it, it can be ratified. That is, it can be approved. Even though it is not in the articles of association, later on they will change the articles of association, but definitely shareholders or the management cannot do things or approve things that is beyond mentioned things mentioned in the memorandum of association. So if they do anything like that, then it will be void, it leads to ultra vires. Then the important document used in the formation of the company, you have the prospectus. Prospectus means a document which invites deposits from public to purchase shares or debentures of a company. Now, prospectus means a document which invites a deposit from the public to purchase shares or debentures of a company. It's like an advertisement basically. A public company should issue prospectus because it will invite public to subscribe to its shares or debentures. Okay, so section 2 subsection 70 of Companies Act 2013 defines prospectus as any document described or issued as prospectus and includes any notice, circular, advertisement, or other document inviting offers from the public for the subscription or purchase of any securities of a body corporate. So it is any document described or issued as a prospectus. So and includes any notice, circular, advertisement. So prospectus can be otherwise just a notice, circular, advertisement, or other document inviting offers from the public for subscribing or purchase of any security of a body corporate. So what is the objective of prospectus? It's to invite the general public to purchase shares or debentures of a company. That's it. Then what this is the prospectus. See, this will be the giving the entire information about the company, what are the projects, who are the board members, what does the company had done so long, and how the company is heading to the future. So everything from the beginning till the future, it will be given so in depth, so that the investors can come to know what is this company, whether to invest in this particular company or not. What are the main clauses or content of this prospectus? Company's name and the address of its registered office is given. The main objectives of the company is given. Number and classes of shares given. Qualification shares of the directors. The name and addresses of the directors, managing director or manager is given. The minimum subscription, which is 90% of the size of its issue, the time of opening and closing of subscription list, the amount payable on the application and allotment of each class of shares. Now, should you remember all these things? Please remember all these things logically. It's very easy. First, understand what is the name of the company. Obviously, register office will be given. What is the object of the company? What are the various types of shares, classes of shares? What are the qualifying shares? What do you mean by qualifying shares? For taking the position of board of directors, they should possess a minimum number of qualifying shares. So only then they will be elected as a board of directors. They will have certain voting powers. Okay, so only then they will be allowed to sit in the board and stand for election, so that they are holding so much of stake in that particular company. Okay, so that is called as qualifying shares of the directors. The name and address of the directors, who are the managing persons of the company. So the name and address of directors, managing directors, and the manager will be given, and the minimum subscription details will be given. The time of opening and closing of the subscription will be given, and the amount payable on the application and allotment of each class of shares will be given. So all these details will be given. So I thank you all for listening, and please, if you can just go through whatever is the important documents. The first document was memorandum of association, then we had articles of association, then we had prospectus. So these are the three documents that are important and for any company. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye.